will cause untold misery.
I picked number 3.
You don't even want to read them first?
I was elected to lead, not to read.
Drink cactus juice. It'll quench you. Nothing's quenchier. It's the quenchiest.
Graphics look so terrible.
It was awful.
I was like, what is this? How?
Hey guys, we're talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender, the entire universe, and just having a quick discussion about it. So yeah, this is Kevin here. You can find him on Fair Off Dragonoid YouTube channel and on Facebook. Violence, right?
Yep.
Cool. All right. But yeah, The Last Airbender, I think it's like the best movie of all time. All right. No, I'm sorry, worst movie of all time.
It's actually freaking bad. I can't say anything good about that movie. Watching the series was the best thing ever, and then I figured out that I find out that they were having a movie. They had all these trailers, made it look cool. They got all these characters, and then I'm like, okay, well, it's made by Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon's track record had been pretty solid, right? Because, well, as much as there wasn't much of a track record because, of course, you had SpongeBob, and SpongeBob had been the perfect interpretation of a movie format of SpongeBob. Nickelodeon movies in general had these adventures with their movies. Rugrats had also been a good movie.
Yeah.
So, jumping into Last Airbender, it's like, there should have not been a bad movie out of this.
Right, because that was one of their best series.
Right.
Everybody loved that series on there, and it was like, we can get money out of this. Let's make a movie. So they made a live-action movie, and everything is different.
Yeah, I remember
Aang was named. His name was
Ong.
For some reason.
God.
I'm like, wait, why is his name Ong?
Jesus Christ.
His name was Ong. Then we have Katara. I'm not even. What did they call her?
No, it was Katara. It was Katara, but it was like.
Sokka was named something else. Suka.
Remember, it was so awesome.
I'm like, why are they changing the names? So they changed the names of the characters.
And they were all white, but
right, I'm like,
no, but
weren't the Water Tribe people supposed to be black?
No, well, they were natives, but I remember seeing the trailer in back. I don't know what movie I was watching, but like I remember seeing the trailer, and when he took the thing off, whatever it was, the hood. His hood off, and like it showed the arrow, and then the title "The Last Airbender" came up. I was so excited. I was like, hands down, I was ready for this movie. I mean, we saw the entire series grow, right? We saw book 1, book 2, and book 3, and book 4, and all of them just going so well. The interpretations were just solid. I don't think there was like the level of comedy with Sokka was awesome. Aang was just this adventurous boy that just He had no idea, of course, about it. It just, there was so much to love about this series. And that movie, I mean, all it had to do, well, it had a lot on its plate, I guess. Because they're trying to put all of book 1, and book 1 was like, I think, multiple episodes. Like, I don't know how many episodes per season there were, but still, like, they could have still hit the bullet points. And there were so many issues with it. Yeah. Like, for example, like we were talking about the metal boat that they should have been on. It's like...
that one episode, I'm not sure if we're skipping book 1 or like into book 2 or something, but there was the episode in Avatar where the Earthbenders were captive on a metal boat, like a metal giant ship, and there was no earth for them in miles for them to bend, to get off, or to fight for themselves or anything.
Right, that's what made it suspenseful.
And, Katara goes there, she starts the revolution, got them coal, and they were bending that, and they freed themselves. Watching the movie, they're on land.
You're Earthbenders.
You're Earthbenders.
Get this straight.
Defend yourself. You're on land. You cannot be beaten on land. You guys are strong. So, this whole thing with Katara going in there, giving a speech was unneeded. Because they were already on land. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? This movie was supposed to be the thing that everybody was going to be like, yeah.
It's
and they messed
so
it
weird.
up.
It's so weird to see how messed up it was. Because, like, I remember, like, this was one of the first movies when, and I was like, I don't know when it came out, like 2010, I think, was when it came out. Like,
I'm sure, yeah.
Like, I was, like, a young, like, I guess, preteen, so, like, this was one of the first movies where I was like, that was terrible. Like I hadn't really come out of movies like this was bad ever. And
I'm
like
so
that was
glad
the
I never
that
paid
was
to go there. We actually rented the DVD.
Right.
We rented the DVD and we was like, what?
like my
mother's a huge fan of like the Avatar, and she was actually like, if I actually went to the theaters and paid money for this, I would have went to his house and burned it.
So you guys watched the whole thing?
Like we literally watched the whole thing. We was like,
if I had it on DVD,
because we was just critiquing the mess out of it because like it was bad.
Yeah, no.
And they brought in Zuko. And I was like, okay, but his name wasn't Zuko. It was something else. And I was like, wait, what's going on here? Why? Like, wasn't he supposed to be like a white dude or something?
It felt like he felt more like a lot more whiny. Then again, he was whiny in the first season, but still, it was like. The characters just didn't feel like they were portrayed as well as they could have been. The story just didn't feel as strong, and there were a lot of issues that I had with the movie.
And then the most killer part for me, like at the end of the movie, was when they introduced what was her name? Azula. They introduced Azula, but Azula didn't come in, I think, until book 3 or book 2. Or between book 3 and 4, I think.
Right.
One of those. But she didn't come in until later. Why introduce her so early into book 1?
Right.
I was like, what is this movie doing?
Right. I don't.
And then they're further going to make a number 2. Now,
of course, we have confirmation, but it looks as if like Shyamalan is pretty hesitant on working on this because apparently, I mean, he's had a good track record. He's coming back slowly. He has his newest movie. I think it was like not The Visit, but The Visit or something. Some movie. I saw it. Really good, really fascinating. Had another Shyamalan twist to it, but the thing about Shyamalan, right, is that he really damaged the Avatar brand. He did something that I cannot say can be fixable. And I can see why he's going to be hesitant, because he's going to work on another movie before he even gets onto this. So it looks like this won't be coming out until 2020 if they actually feel like jumping into the Avatar universe again. I think Avatar might be at a point where they might as well just go make a new animated series and then make a movie out of that animated series before jumping into the next book of the old Avatar that we all love, but it's like that's been a while. That's back almost a decade now.
Yeah, I feel like they messed up on that. But if they just gave it to another director that really, really actually loved the series and have a soul,
that could do it.
That could actually create
Avatar by Michael Bay.
No. That will never happen. That will never happen. Well, I mean, if he could actually do a good job with it, then why not?
I found an Avatar.
Boom! Explosion. But like,
explosions in ice. How did that happen?
I'm just like, I don't know. It's just happened. But like, actually, no, that explosion when he came out of the ball of ice could be a thing.
Oh man,
that could be a thing.
Yeah,
Michael Bay just flavor it up.
Just have like Bay's just on every side. Megan Fox on every side of the explosion. And
okay, but like he could have flavored that up. But I'm just saying, like, just give it to like a different director, so people won't have to come and go after him and just hurt him.
Right.
Because I feel like if he continues where he's going right now with this, and he continues to mess it up any further,
give it a new director.
People are going to go after him, and I'm just saying,
I think right now what they probably should be doing is going into the Korra. I think that you saw, like, you guys tried it with Avatar. Just jump into Korra.
I mean,
I think that there's some elemental. The thing about Korra is, and we'll talk about it in a second here. I didn't like Korra as much as Avatar because they went into different, almost a completely different genre where like they started getting all this romance and they went into different things and. It just didn't feel like there was a rush to Avatar where it's like you have to get there by Sozin's Comet. You had these deadlines and they were immediate. They were moving. They're taking their time. They took their time with Korra, and it just didn't feel as I don't know. Something about it just didn't feel as exciting as the first Avatar. But I still think that it could be a better movie format because of the romance and because of the other points that they had in that series.
And I can't argue with you on that because. The thing is, they're in a city-like element. It's been years
Ba Sing
since...
Se, right?
Yeah, it's been like years since, the old Avatar. He's died now. Aang has died, and now it's Korra. So Korra's here now, and they're like in a city-like element,
Yeah.
It would be better
I would
for them to do a movie on it because like we have a city type thing going on,
Right,
but
right.
But their city's sort of more steampunk.
They have a very it was a very I love and hate Korra's universe because it gives us this new grounded steampunk universe in Ba Sing Se. What I wanted though was a
I don't think it was Ba Sing Se.
Was it? Was it?
I don't think it was Ba Sing Se. I think it was like a whole different area, like it was the capital.
The capital, okay.
Yeah, it's the capital. It's like where every bender can go together in this one area.
Cool.
It's not just.
I haven't followed Korra that much to.
I only watched
like
a few episodes, but because I didn't have internet at the time, I couldn't.
You just couldn't follow.
On. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, it's cool. My teacher, Miss Hoffman.
Yeah,
into that.
She loved it. I remember
she loved it. I was like, well, there has to be something I'm missing here because if she liked it, then what am I missing?
There was just a lot more drama. I think the cool thing. Avatar didn't really have that much in terms of romance until the final season. I would say. You looked at Zuko and that love triangle between Zuko and or what was thought of as a love triangle between Zuko and
Korra.
And, no, Katara.
Of course, yes.
Katara
it was
and
Zuko, Katara, and Aang.
And
So-
I shipped Zuko and Katara. I thought that could actually work, even though obviously Aang made more sense.
Yes.
Even though he's 100 years old, but
he's like 112. Get that right?
Jesus Christ,
112.
Okay, but
Oh shit.
But yeah. Anyway, there just wasn't that there was romance in Avatar, but it just wasn't as prevalent as the idea of like drama and romance, and there was still, and I can't say Korra's all about that because there's a lot of action and there's still some fast paced moments, but it just didn't feel as.
But like I feel like they just kind of threw it in there in the Korra's universe. They just threw it in there because like, hey, the old Avatar had it. Let's throw it in there. But with the old Avatar, what it did was romance kind of creeped its way into the series.
Right. It felt natural.
It felt it was like the process like everyone goes through. You got to get to know each other. Then you grow the feelings. You're friends. And then, it just goes on from there.
Yeah.
It goes on from there.
The ship will sail, but you got to build it first,
like these, like it was kind of thrown in there because I say this because like Korra had met this guy who was on this he was on this team, and it was just like, boom, they just met each other. Now they're just got on a team together because, hey, she's the Avatar. She can bend all these other stuff. So like, why not? She can join the team. And then all of a sudden they just start throwing in romance and stuff. I'm like, well, what's going on? You guys just met each other. You just met each other. What are y'all doing here?
Yeah. I think that there were a lot of things that Korra had that Avatar didn't. There were a lot of things that Avatar had that Korra didn't. But they both kind of Korra tried to blend in. I think that there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of difficulty with trying to be as good as an original. But I just, there were moments where you look at Avatar, right, and Sokka's first romance with the moon.
I think her name
I'm not. It's been years, guys. Don't hate me on the internet here. It's been years. But,
well, we can just put it on the screen when we find it.
Right.
The thing is, she, what was her name? Was like, don't hate me. But I think her name was like.
If you Google search, it says Sokka's moon girlfriend.
That's crazy. But what was her name?
It doesn't.
I just call her Yuki.
Yue.
Yue. See, I was right. It was with a U.
Okay.
All right, so it was Yue, and then like she gave her life back to one of the water spirits.
Right.
And it was one of the koi fish, and she became part of that.
Exactly.
And now she's in the moon.
She's in the moon.
Yeah, so she controls all the water. She can just like, oh, that's my old boyfriend. Oh, he's cheating on me. Wait, but yeah, I'm just saying, like, and then his new girlfriend.
Like, it all felt. The cool thing is, it all like we talked about before. It felt natural, right? Like there was no rush to any of that. It was slow and steady, and the progression was solid, right? You didn't feel meshed in. It didn't feel awkward. There was well, it probably did at times because I need to rewatch it fully. But the ideas that the original Avatar did, whether it was action, whether it was love, or whatever it was, because like there are moments in Avatar where it's like I remember in terms of action and suspense and just all build up, right? That moment where it's like Bossing Say the wall when that.
The wall was supposed to be like the most immovable wall ever,
and the Fire Nation has that drill. Like that was they were trying to.
Whoa.
That was a moment where I was just like, man, that
and then they finally
took
got
a lot of They took a lot of action elements. Took a lot of. That was a solid moment. You had the moment with the dragon.
They had a little recon thing where they were trying to destroy the drill.
Right.
And they failed. I mean,
exactly.
I think they failed, and then like they just got in. They got in, and they're like, "Oh well, shit."
Yeah, it's like the good guys don't win all the time. That I think there's some high points in Avatar where it's like you can look back. Well, you can look at that finale too. It just with all the airships and the battle. I'm losing it right now because it's just so exciting. But Avatar was a very solid universe, and I do wish that they go back to it. I really think that they should jump back into it, whether that is going into a prequel story where it's like you go into the beginning of the Fire Nation, or you go into Zuko's story, you go into anyone's story. You go into anyone's story or someone new, or you go into the older Avatar story, right? I would love to see something like that where they just
like one of the past generation avatars, like Avatar Roku.
Yeah,
Avatar Roku was the fire,
exactly.
Avatar, and they went in. They kind of told you the background story about him and how he died and stuff, which was I think. That was cool.
It was cool, but we'd love to see some more stuff.
We wanted to see him more as he progressed. Now they did show us some other avatars before Avatar.
Of course, there was that one episode where he goes into the shrine or whatever it is, and all the avatars are surrounding him, and and he's trying and Aang is Aang is trying Aang is trying to discuss the
he's trying
he's talking to them, trying to find the best possible way to kill the Fire Lord, right? That wasn't it?
Fire Lord Ozai.
Yeah,
he was trying to find the best solution to defeat him without killing him.
Right, and
but the old avatars kept saying, "Just kill him."
Right,
they were like. Forget it. Like, what's her name? Avatar.
Even the one that was so peaceful. Like, right? It was like, we're going up, and we can't. There's no point anymore. You have to go and kill him.
Right. Even the peaceful guy, the Earth. Okay, the Earth Avatar, right? I think her name was Kyoshi because she have an island to.
Yeah, I remember
her. And he had asked her, and she had told him, well. She was telling him how, I had an enemy, similar to what your enemy was, and I split the earth open, and he fell in there, and he died. So that was it. And she's like, I killed him, so kill him. I was like, damn, they're all telling him to kill him. Yeah, and Avatar, then they even went to the fire Avatar, which was like, Roku, right? Avatar Roku.
I can't.
Avatar Roku.
I wish I was.
He was like, he's the peaceful guy, right? He's not peaceful, but he's like the wisest guy, and he's like the most guy that will give you sense. And he was like,
"Sorry, man,
you gotta kill him." I was like, God damn. He even went back to avatars that we haven't even seen him.
That's what I'm
talk to, and they were just like, I did this in my time, and kill him. They were all literally telling him to kill him, and he was like. He didn't want to do that until he talked to a turtle, like a giant sea turtle.
Yeah, I think that discussion, right, makes Aang's character so much stronger in that he didn't have to kill. He didn't kill the Fire Lord at all. He did that.
Took away his bending.
He took away his bending, and that was probably one of the best endings that you could have had in terms of a story, right, where it's just like everyone's telling you to do this, do the complete opposite. Or not the complete opposite, but you find another way. Like, he was soul searching, looking for any possible way not to, and he found his own way to do it. And he was, like you said, talk to that giant turtle thing. That creeped me out one episode. That creeped me out.
Yeah, it was like a giant turtle dragon, and and
I thought it was a lion.
Oh, turtle line?
Wasn't it a line in the face?
I think it probably was it probably was a turtle line, but like in some cultures that's actually like a sign of wealth.
Yeah.
But like he talked to him and he was like, you can do this and that and you can probably just take away his bending. And he's like, wait,
Right.
you do what? Take away his bending. So he did, and they bring that there you go.
Yeah,
they bring that back. They bring that back into the new series where Korra's first enemy had the ability to take away people's bending.
Right.
But technically he did, but he also didn't. Because he was using blood bending to do it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, that's pretty damn cool that you could use blood bending to get rid of somebody else's bending, which was never done in the old series. They did introduce blood bending, but
it
they
wasn't
never
done in that regard.
took it that far.
Right.
To the part where, you know, the Avatar could gain an ability from the turtle line, and, you know, they were like, oh, just give it to this guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, but only the Avatar can get that ability to take away somebody else's bending. And he was like, oh, well, I have it, so it's not that special anymore. So I was like, well, dang.
Yeah.
And, you know, Korra defeat him, but in the midst of losing, water, fire, and earth, she got wind.
Yeah.
So she was able to wind bend finally.
Yeah.
That was kind of crazy
airbender.
How that was like, you know, airbend. That was kind of the hardest thing for her to do. Which
and she was still able to transfer it and...
that was like... It's like the same thing where Aang was the airbender. And the hardest thing for him to do was earthbending. Yeah. That was like one of the hardest things for him to do because like air is go with the flow, whereas earth
like
is
you have to
stand your ground and
you have to move. You have to use force.
Use force to move your target. I'm just like, wow, I could see why that was hard for him because it's like complete opposite of what his teachings are, his airbending style.
The story told that to you and told that to viewers, explained it to viewers so well. That's another thing that was just so great about the show is that, you know, they pushed the narrative and they pushed the explanations, but they pushed them very well. Like you talk about just the nature of earthbending, the mudbending tribe or whatever it was. That was
that was kind of like that was like a between thing, like between water and earth, but like technically it was still earth because they were just moving the dirt in it, and the waterbenders could do the same thing because they're just moving the water in it. So it's
I think,
but no, they were still waterbenders. They were just like
they were just a side. They were a side of
and they had like leaves on their heads, eating giant cockroaches and stuff.
It was so stupid.
What? Yeah. I was like, what was that? But then like, you know, they just took it. They took it into like in a different direction in Korra, where like okay, they gave this guy Among, what is his name? I don't know what his name. The ability to take away people's you know, bending, and then she got her air bending, but the thing, and here's the part where it got me there was like she was a waterbender. Yeah. You know, she was born in the water tribe. Exactly. And you would figure the hardest part for her to learn is fire. Right. But
it wasn't, obviously.
It wasn't. So the hardest part for her was, you know, was air. And I was like, well, why is that a thing? That shouldn't be a thing.
But you saw
because when she started, she mastered as a child, she mastered earth, fire, and water.
Yeah,
as a child.
Right. But we did see in the first season of Avatar that, or the first book of Avatar, that there was a difficulty for Aang even to switch over from wind to water, but that might have just been because of the fact that it was his first
time doing it.
Yeah, his first trying to adjust. I guess this conversation's kind of wrapped up at this point. So yeah, this is.